there, and welcome to another Randomman review. Yeah, this time we're talking about probably the most anticipated, or at least one of the most anticipated films of the year. Probably the most anticipated comic book film, which is, of course, Captain America: Civil War. Ooh. Dun 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 dun. Yeah. No idea. Sorry about that. Yeah. So, cut to the chase. It's bloody brilliant. It's, I don't know. It's basically the film that Batman vs Superman should have been. Yeah, the film that Batman vs Superman could have been if, you know, hadn't have been such a disappointment and borderline failure. Not financially, of course, but, you know, everything else. Yeah. I mean, just the, there's a lot of action throughout the film, but there's two main Team Cap, Team Iron Man type fights, and even the smaller one of those is longer than the amount of time that Batman is actually the Superman in Dawn of Justice. So, which, when I saw that, I checked, it's like 8 minutes of them actually fighting each other before, the pre-Martha scuffle, I suppose we'll call it. Why not? Yeah, it just, I don't know, there's just, I mean, there'll probably be at least one more viewing of it, but so far I can't really pick out anything that made me think, oh, that was quite bad actually. They could have maybe done that much better. But no, I mean, Zemo seemed a bit wasted, bit, borderline pointless really. But apart from that, it's, he was still good. He just maybe didn't need to be there in this particular film, or they could have maybe made a bit more of him, but I don't know. Meh. I'm sure there are people that will disagree and say that he was, used perfectly, but just wasn't for me. Yeah, the introduction of Black Panther and Spider-Man just felt quite natural. It was kind of, there's a nice little introduction to each of them before you see them in costume, and that was kind of cool, instead of just, oh, we need to put these new characters in here, so we'll just kind of cram them in very, very quickly, slightly at the what's the word? But sort of slightly harming the film that we're actually making, because jamming these characters into this film will help promote other films that we're making at another time, because no one would do that. But yeah, they just felt like a natural fit at their particular points. Black Panther's just kind of is a bit of sort of boom, he's there, but at the same time, it's kind of, it's done well. Then Spider-Man who's in it a lot more than a lot of you are probably expecting. You know, he gets a nice little introduction, and then he's brought into it properly, and it's like, okay, prepare, nice. Also, new Aunt May, nice. Yeah, apparently in the film universe, she's got that same thing that Benjamin Button had, so fair play. People are going to be going back and sort of, just trying to work, trying to see what I'm talking about here, but it's fine. Alright, itchy nose, so good. Yeah, each of the characters, when it's like, oh, blah 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 blah, you should all be held accountable, rah 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 rah, and stuff. As each of the characters is, sort of sounding off about why they should be regulated or why they shouldn't, it's each character kind of, as they're picking a side, it kind of feels right, I mean, not giving too much away, but Black Widow sort of makes a good point at one point, saying, well, we've got all this destruction like that people want to blame us for. We need to win back people's trust. So they'll go, actually, these are the good guys. We shouldn't be stopping them. They're not above the law, but and you can kind of see a point. She's sort of siding with the regulate the Avengers, and there should be a committee that sends them out, but so that they can gain people's trust, so that they're seen as the heroes that they really are, instead of a bunch of super powered thugs and mutants, although we can't use that term for Marvel films because Fox own the rights to the term mutant, but can't they all just get along? It's complicated. But yeah, you can kind of see a point, even if you're Team Cap, you can kind of see her point. You can kind of see why Tony Stark would want them regulated, although it's almost a kind of Martha level of, alright, okay. It's great that, thanks to Batman Superman, we now have a term for something that seems a bit silly and, not quite right, and kind of it's a bit of a Martha situation. Oh, gotcha. Okay, fair enough. But yeah, they kind of, you can see Cap's point when he's saying that he doesn't want them to sign this thing that says that they give up their right to choose how they do things. You can see Iron Man's point when he's saying that they should have some sort of control put on them, so that they're not just kind of, hey, this thing's happening, let's go do it, let's go stop it, la la la. It's pretty much the argument that a lot of people have when there's some dickhead halfway around the world, and then like American forces get sent in a sort of Team America style thing. Sort of, hey, something's going on in another country. We haven't actually been asked to help deal with it, but we're gonna charge. And then they just send like shitloads of troops in there and bomb the crap out of the country and hope for the best. You know, it's like that. You know, the people that get super political and talk about that sort of stuff, which I don't usually. I'm trying not to now, but it's like that. You know, when people have those sorts of arguments about, you know, America or Britain, or, you know, like the, you know, usually combination of the two, but you know, how certain countries feel they need to police the world and no one really does much to try and stop them. And it's a bit like that. You know, Civil War, it's kind of, you know, obviously the Chitauri and Ultron and, you know, all the rest of it kind of needed stopping, but maybe someone should have been there saying, well, you know, that's just, maybe don't stop them like that. Yeah, and maybe if there'd been a committee in place, Ultron wouldn't have been created in the first place. But it's Tony Stark, so it would have been. Because, hell with it. You know, I am Iron Man. Give a shit. You know, he does stuff like that. So Ultron would have still happened. Then they'd have had to have gone after him. So it all still would have happened, but someone would have been there to go, well, I told you that shouldn't have happened. But you can see why, where, like, a lot of time in films like this, it's like, you know, well, I'm right because my name's first in the credits. And everyone else is like, oh, okay, that's fair enough. But this, you can see why one lot thinks they're right, but you can see why the other lot would also be kind of right. And you just, I don't know, it all just feels, it all just kind of makes sense. You know, the arguments that both teams have make sense. And that's kind of cool. That, you know, you might go in there sort of a, you know, oh, I've always liked Iron Man, so I'm Team Iron Man. But then you, oh, I can kind of see Cap's point there. You know, or, you know, I can see why Scarlet Witch feels that way. Oh, you know, fair enough. You know, the only one that doesn't feel right is annoyingly Spider-Man, who, if he does have an opinion on it one way or the other, in the film it kind of comes across like he's, you know, it pretty much feels like sort of, oh, I'm fighting you because Iron Man said I should. But, you know, huge fan, oh my god. And yeah, apart from that, everyone feels like, for the version of them that's in the films, it feels right that they would make that choice and side with those particular people. And, you know, it's, yeah, it's that everyone is kind of where their character should be. It, you know, for a film that covers such serious matters and has, you know, quite tense, dramatic encounters between mostly the main two heroes, but you know, but just some of the scenes with Cap and Iron Man are just so sort of, oh yeah. You know, in one of the trailers it has Iron Man saying, you know, I want to punch you in your perfect teeth. And that comes across, and you can see that, you know, they're friends. But, okay, at some point we all have that one friend that, you know, they're like your best friend ever, and you love them to bits, but sometimes you could happily whack them in the face with a crowbar. And, you know, or just playfully set them on fire. Yeah, not, you know, nothing major. You know, they're conscious. They can put the flames out. You know, not a complete psycho. Not yet. But yeah, it just, he knew it, for a film that has such intense bits. It just it still manages to be quite playful, and as I say, it's that friendship. Yeah, they're best friends. Yeah, they love each other. They've been through so much stuff since the Avengers formed, but at the same time, it's just that kind of, why can't you see? Each of them kind of feels like, why can't you see that what you're saying is wrong? Do I really need to beat you to within an inch of your life for you to realise you are wrong and I am right? Because are you really that thick? And there's, but because that friendship's there, it keeps it, not playful. Well, yeah, I suppose playful works, but they can sort of keep it kind of light-hearted when it needs to be, instead of, again, Dawn of Justice, where just everything was just so grim that even when it tried being a bit more playful and a bit more light-hearted, it just came across as a bit stupid because the scene before had been far too grim. And yeah, I just think it was brilliant. It was, whether you're just a fan of the Marvel films or if you've read pretty much every issue that they did connected to Civil War back in the day, Punisher War Journal was just brilliant. The Civil War Journal. It's kind of a, oh wow, there's all this world changing stuff going on, and I'm just gonna gun people down because what do I care? But yeah, I say, whether you just like the films and go see the films because they're good films and it's actiony, and the main three guys in the various Marvel films aren't too bad looking. Well, don't look at me like that. Chris Hemsworth, he's Whew. Yeah, but it just, whether you, as I say, whether you just like the films, or you're with someone that likes the films and you just like to see 60 ladies or big muscly hunks, or whether you've, as I say, read like pretty much every comic that covered Civil War and you want to go and compare the film to the comics, so you can go, oh, well, that was much better in the comics because it had blah 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 doing blah, 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 blah. It's just such a brilliant film. It's and I think even if you don't normally see this kind of film, I think you would possibly get something out of it. I genuinely think that people will get something out of it, even if they're not usually a big superhero fan, because it's just so well written and so well acted. And admittedly, when the two teams are facing off, that was a teensy bit more impressive in the comics because you had like hundreds of people on both sides, and this is like 6 aside. So you've gone from like a war zone. You've gone from like a battlefield to like Sunday League, and yeah, it's just, but it's just great. I don't usually sort of get this positive about a film because even if it's one I've been looking forward to, afterwards I still feel a little let down. The only film that I've seen in recent years that I can think of off the top of my head that didn't let me down when I first saw it was Jurassic World. And I sort of thought, oh, it looks so amazing, but it's just gonna be Jurassic Park 4, and Jurassic Park 3 was bad. So me, and it came out and it was just brilliant. And this is the same thing that you go into it thinking, oh, I've been so hyped about this film, and there's just been so much talk about it. It has to be disappointing, surely. And then you come out of it and it's like, no, actually, that's even the no spoilers about it, but there's a scene during the credits with it's with Cap, scene during the credits, and then there's a scene after the credits, which even that scene is just pretty bloody cool. You just it's like nice. And so it's another one of those Marvel ones where you have to wait right to the very end, but for once it's worth it. Because I mean, Age of Ultron with a fine, I'll do it myself. Yeah. Iron Man 3. Obviously, that was supposedly because the original ending was leaked, so they refilmed it and gave us that pile of crap. But just everything about Civil War just feels like it was done right and for the right reasons, and I don't know. If every comic book film could be done that well, then they could release like 10 of they could release a different comic book film each month, and you would still not get fed up with comic book films, because if they were just done that well, you would like so like that comes out on 1st of May, and then the next one's out on that 2nd of June, and I can't wait. And it's you just because you'd know that each one was going to be so well done. You would happily fork out that money each month to see another comic book film, because it would just be done so brilliantly. And I think going ahead, that's what, especially DC, because come on, for like DC, you have Batman. You have Batman and Superman, two of the most recognizable fictional characters in history, and you seem to be ignoring what's made those characters last for the better part of a century. And Batman, make him dark and brooding and grim and stuff like that. If you want, because Dawn of Justice, Batman was the best part of that entire film, and I hated the idea of Batfleck, but he was the redeeming feature of that entire film, closely followed by the much underused Wonder Woman. And I feel like that's maybe they're playing it out, so Superman's all kind of gritty and dark and that, because he's still trying to find his place in the world. But somewhere down the line, sort of probably by the end of, I suppose probably by the end of the second Justice League thing, because part 1 is probably going to be resolving Dawn of Justice. Again, I'm trying to avoid spoilers, but sort of the ending of Dawn of Justice will probably impact Justice League Part 1, and then and bringing the League together. Then Justice League Part 2 will probably be where they actually face their big threat, which almost certainly Darkseid, but who knows? Maybe Brainiac, and they'll build up to Darkseid, which they maybe should have done with Spiky Boy. But instead of doing a Venom on him. But Civil War, almost certainly best Marvel film, although it's, for me personally, it's really, really tight between Civil War and Guardians of the Galaxy, because Guardians showed that you can take characters nobody knows and make it kind of silly, and people are gonna love it just as much as these epic, dark, brooding, more serious heroes that anyone would recognise, even if they haven't seen the film. You show someone a picture of Captain America, chances are they're going to recognise him. Picture of the Hulk, Batman, Superman, Spider-Man. People all around the world will recognise them. Show them Star-Lord, maybe not. But, you can take characters like that and make an awesome film. And then, so it's, I really, if you love Guardians of the Galaxy, this is, this is, you're probably going to have a hard time picking between Guardians and Civil War to best Marvel film so far. And it is definitely one of the best comic book films ever made. I think it possibly beats Dark Knight. And that's saying something, because that was a damn near perfect film. And Civil War is a damn near perfect film. So if they had the same sort of effort going to Doctor Strange and Infinity War, then we've got some really good stuff coming up as comic book fans and movie fans. So we're in some sort of golden age of comic book movies, and it's going to be glorious. It's going to be a hell of a thing to experience. So Civil War, it's pretty much a it's pretty much a 10 out of 10, and just see it. Even if you're thinking, I'm not sure it's really my thing, see it, and then just enjoy it for what it is. It might encourage you to go back and watch the other Marvel films to sort of see exactly what's happened with these characters. But even if you've not seen any of them, this one is, Civil War is a good one to start with, because at the very least you'll be, oh, I really like that Ant-Man. I like him. Oh, they've done a film with him, haven't they? Oh, watch that. Black Panther. Oh, he's cool. When that comes out, I'll have to go check that. But just go see it. They're brilliant, and you will pretty much not regret it. Bit longer than I intended this video to be, but thanks for sticking with it. If you've seen Civil War, or when you do see Civil War, hit the comments. Let me know. Let me know what you thought. If you want to subscribe to the channel, then that's mucho appreciated. Yeah, but if you do, hopefully see you next time. And yeah, thanks for watching, and I will, as I say, hopefully see you next time. Bye for now.